Hello, welcome back, and everyone. Do you have people here already? If you're here after our break, please say hello. We love to see your engagement. Um, I was thinking, Silumesii, that we could start with the t-shirt raffle, but maybe it would be better. Okay, I see some comments in the chat. Awesome. Um, yeah, maybe we could wait people to come in and then
Okay.
we do the raffle, the draw for the t-shirt. Looks good. Let's give people a few more minutes to submit their responses. And yeah, how would you like to start?
So I'd be excited to see if we have any PRs that came in on any of the projects while we're away. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do that.
Nice.
I can share my screen.
Okay, thank you.
I see if notifications here. I was taking a
Nice.
look at that. Awesome, regime version from code file. That's what we needed. Let's first take a look at all of the submissions and then we can dive into them. These ones were closed by the Penabot. Okay, so even the Penabot's collaborating with us today.
Nice.
Also, another one closed by the Penabot. Cool, superseded. Okay, I think that's it then. One new PR and a couple new ones from the Penabot that we can merge. Okay, that's on FactoryBot. Let's take a look at the factory. That's on FactoryBot Rails. Let's take a look at the FactoryBot repo. Nothing new on pull requests. Nothing new on issues. Awesome. That's good.
That's very good. Yeah.
All right. We can dive into anything you like. Should we do a recap in case there are new people here?
Yes, I think that would be an excellent idea. Yes.
All right. Am I sharing my screen? Yeah, I'm not right now. And then increasing my font size. I didn't forget the sign. So if you're just joining us today, we are on the FactoryBot track. Me and Silumesii are your FactoryBot maintainers. And you can take a look at the contributing.md file anytime for ideas on how you can contribute to our project. Um, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. We can dive into an issue
Let's do it.
or a
I'll be
PR.
I'll be the font size. I'll be the font size police again. Are you able to?
Thank you. I
Thank
think
you.
I'm more used to it now. Oh yeah, so yeah, we wanna read the jump version from a code file. Um, we've created the version.rb file and replace it here on the gemspec. Does that look good to y'all? I think let's see. Is that how FactoryBot does it? Let me take a look at FactoryBot. So projects, thoughtbot, FactoryBot. Let's just check for consistency across different repositories.
Mm-hmm.
So factory on the gemspec, we are loading the path and reading lib and requiring factory bot raise slash version. Looks good to me. Let's merge it.
Imagine.
Okay, first we have to approve, and then the workflows are gonna run, right?
Mhm.
Yep. Okay, we can come back to it once that's done. What would you like to do now, Silumesii?
Just quickly approving as well. Not that it's going to make any difference, but
Oh yeah, we can approve it already. Awesome, thank you so much.
yeah.
Unused, I don't know if you're here. um, okay, I think this PR here, we may be able to close it, right? Because
Uh,
FactoryBot added support to that version of Rails, and then when we require FactoryBot, yeah, that's actually what this PR did.
mhm.
So they added the news RMD and added the gem file for
Uh,
Rails 7.2. Okay, so this one goes further than the work we did, right?
we went up to, was it 7.1?
What do you mean?
So this is support for 7.2, and just trying to remember if the changes we made on FactoryBot were up to 7.2 as well.
Let's see it. Um, ensure Rails 7.2 compatibility.
Nice.
Yes, that is it.
Mhm.
So if you go back to FactoryBot Rails, um, and look at the PR, we have a few conflicting files after our latest release, so
Mhm.
we can try to fix this.
Thanks. Could you bump
Um,
your font again? Sorry.
oh no, I thought that was big enough.
Thanks.
Okay, I think these conflicts may be simple enough, so we can just fix them here on the UI. So we want to use the latest release
That's right.
instead of the other one.
Mhm.
That's it on this file.
That's it. Okay.
And we wanna we should have added that to our news, right? That we now support Rails 7.2. That may be
Oh, right. Mm, good point.
it's not too late though. I think we can just add that to the. I think that's not gonna take in the Ruby gems
Mhm.
changelog, but if people refer to this document later, then they will see that this version added support to that version of Rails.
Mhm.
Okay, so markers resolved. I should have undone that for that as well. So let's go back to the gems pack, and the version we want here is 7.4.4, right? The
That's
other
right.
one is on FactoryBot instead of Factory Rails. Okay,
Mhm.
mark as resolved and commit. Um, okay, so now we have the gem files. This was generated by appraisal. I've learned about appraisal lately. Recently, I mean.
Nice. Are you able to bump the font size again?
Yes.
Yeah.
'Cause it's like I cannot see a lot of things in my screen when the font size is big, so I just get upset and decrease the font again.
I hear you. Yeah, I think I'll need to spend some time with appraisal over the coming few weeks.
To learn more about it, right?
Mhm.
Okay, I think I don't feel super comfortable right now to merge that one. I may need to learn more about it.
Mhm.
So we may not be able to fix that today, right?
I think that's I think that's reasonable. At least we've been able to make the next step forward, if that makes sense.
Cool. All right. Can we rotate driving?
No problem.
Can you take over?
Yeah.
That'll be great.
So just checking the chat. If anyone has any questions from the recap or anything that we've covered so far, please, you're very, very welcome. And Fer, who's on the call, is one of the team. So if you're in the US, you're going to be interacting with him in a few hours, I think. So welcome, Fer. Any questions from what we've been able to cover so far? And then we'll get to work on
At this point, I think we can do the draw for the t-shirt. It's been a few minutes already. Let's do that.
let's do it.
Okay.
I don't
What
know if I
about
should.
I open the form submissions and then you do the draw for a number? Have you seen the instructions on how to do the draw?
I think I missed those, but let me see. I should be able to find them.
Okay. So if you go to, you can just ask Google to pick a number from, let's see how many people have submitted. Just a second, I'm getting some trouble with tabs here. And link. Okay, found it. So you're gonna ask Google to pick a number between 1 and 14.
14. Nice.
Can you share a screen while you do it?
Yes. Let me add this to the stage. Am I adding, sorry, am I showing the right thing? Sorry, that's your screen. Was that mine?
Yeah, that's mine.
Sorry. Okay, so this is the form.
And we have a question on the chat after we finish that.
Christoph asks, you just released 644. The Rails 7.2 support is not with this release, right? So the news shouldn't contain this information as is.
Can we finish the draw and then we can come back to the comment?
No problem. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna just share my screen here. I'm gonna ask, give me a number between 1 and 14. Okay, that doesn't work as I wanted. Okay, so we have 6. Then I'm gonna enter here on the form submissions 6, and Harriet Autumn, I think, has won the t-shirt. So someone from thoughtbot is gonna reach out to you soon Harriet, and arranged and delivered of your t-shirt. Thank you so much for subscribing. That was fun. Oh,
Congratulations.
yay! Okay, so we can come back to Christoph's question.
That's right. So you just released 644. The Rails 7.2 support is not with this release, right? So the news shouldn't contain this information as is. So I might be mistaken, but the 644 release has because of FactoryBot Rails 644, which we just released, has FactoryBot 6.5, which has Rails 7.2 for support. So we should be covered.
Yeah, I can share the FactoryBot release again for a double check. So if you take a look at the 6.5 release, we share Rails 7.2 compatibility, and then on the Rails release, FactoryBot Rails release, we add the dependency on that FactoryBot version. Let us know if you have any questions or if that doesn't sound correct to you. All right, moving on.
Sorry, I should have been the one sharing my screen. Let me pick up from. Pull requests on FactoryBot and add to stage. All right, so hopefully this is visible. So we're looking at the FactoryBot page. Let me know if the font size is too big or too small.
Looks good to me.
Amazing, thank you. So it would be great if we're able to work on another issue together. So I'll have a look at the issues that we have listed. Again, we've got FactoryBot and FactoryBot Rails. Right now we're looking at FactoryBot. So let's have a look at what we've got.
I think a good one could be an issue about documentation.
Nice.
Because we have people engaging here, so we can gather their ideas.
Oops.
If you look for just documentation, you could find that issue.
So has many associations, fixed docs about
No,
definition.
that's not it.
No?
No.
Let me search the tag. One of these?
Please consider bringing back the old README style documentation.
I remember that
you're
one.
for requests. We're talking about issues now.
Thanks. So issues. Yeah. Documentation.
Yep.
Translation.
The first one.
This is the one. Yes, I remember seeing this one.
Okay, so our contributor says that let me open here as well because I think it's okay. They say that the old README style documentation was easier to navigate, and now we have the doc style documentation. I don't know I don't remember what's the name of that tech, that piece of tech that we use for the FactoryBot book. I think it's in the book.
In the book, yeah.
Right? Yeah, I can share a little bit here. So that's what we have here. We have the intro, build strategies. I think it's very nice that we have that sidebar here and a dedicated space for the docs. But our contributor says that they prefer the README style. You can open that as well. Hi. Please.
Prompt your prompt again.
Yes.
Thank you.
So there's a plus one here. I like to vouch for this as well. And they needed to take a look at the documentation, and the cookbook felt visually limiting. They found out that the Getting Started RMDs are still available. Okay. So if you agree with that point of view, please let us know. You can give a thumbs up here, and I think that makes sense, right? If people are, is there a way to support both versions of the documentation? That would be great.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. If the new documentation is not supported, does that mean we have to update in two places whenever the docs change?
That's a good point. We wouldn't want that. Let's take a look at the PR that introduced that change.
And
Okay, so
let's see.
the Getting Started file was becoming hard to navigate, and then we split into a book format. So here are a few examples of rendering. We don't have the old version, but I think it was everything in a single file, right? Maybe if we take a look at the files changed. Getting started.
This it makes it easier to grep as well.
Yeah, well, if we, let's take a look at the documentation here. Is there a way to search everything? Create. Do we have examples on how to use factories? We should have, right?
We
Factory.
should. We should. Yes.
Yeah, this may be not great for beginners using the gem. If I am starting to use a gem, I like to go to the README and see a quick example on how to use it. And we don't have that here. You would have to dive into the link. So maybe we can have different versions of the same documentation, like the keep the book for a deeper reference, and getting started file for a quick reference on how to use things.
I
That's
like
an
the sound.
idea.
Yeah, I like the sound of that, especially since you're considering it from the perspective of someone who's new to the project. There's some really good feedback in the comments as well. So we have Harriet, our winner, Harriet, who says, is there anything like a community forum where votes can be gathered on one or the other, so we don't have both on the go at the same time? So Sarah, from what I'm understanding, your idea is in a sense to kind of scope it to just the beginner documentation on the README, so it might not have to be the entire book.
Yeah, that's an idea. I don't know if that's the best one. Is there another comment on the topic? Can you
There is.
add the old content as a page in the new doc site? So is the problem that they prefer to see things on GitHub, or is the problem that it's everything on the same page, right?
Page, yeah.
Let's take a look at the issue. These new docs are split up so granularly that's hard to find what one is looking for. Sometimes I didn't even know which feature I needed. By scrolling the examples, I could recognize.
That's a good point.
Truly a joy to read and use. That's a good to read. Um, yeah, Christopher's idea is a good one. So I think that makes sense to
Mm,
add a page here. We have the intro and then we have getting started. Maybe confusing. But we need to update two places anyway. So not great. Really have to have a single source of truth.
mhm,
Does
mhm.
anybody love the book style other than the author of the change? Let's take a look at the PR again. Let's see if we had feedback. No feedback on the PR. Couple of hearts.
Mm.
What do you say?
I think we can ask the group, so everyone that's on the call. So what about adding a link in README to the old docs and specify that if they would like to see the legacy versions of the docs, they can do it by visiting the link.
I think that makes it harder. I mean, the author of the issue would like to for her updated documentation to see in the same in the style of the same page, right?
That's right.
The the README style. So I
Mm,
think what they really are looking for is to have a single documentation and have everything on the same file.
yeah,
So I don't know if that would help.
and there's a
There is
new,
a new comment. We
that's
also
right.
don't want to change it back and then leave a new issue open, asking you to change it back again. Yeah, we just have to be opinionated and decide. So, what do you want to do, Silumesii?
Yeah, so I think my question would be, what is the problem that the MD books is trying to solve?
If we look into the PR, we see that the file it has becoming increasingly hard to navigate. It's their point of view that the book format is easier to navigate.
Mhm. So I guess that's coming from the navigation on the side, right?
Maybe that's from a maintainer point of view. So the author of that PR was a maintainer of a FactoryBot,
That's right.
and not the point of view of the users. So we also always want to make everything easier for our users, right? Not for ourselves. So a little bit for ourselves as well, but
Yeah.
having the user as our focus, we may want to just move it back to the README
Mm.
file. I think I can vouch for it.
Yeah, I'm on board with the idea. I'm just wondering, since MD Book is it's a book generator, I'm wondering if there is an option or provision or something like that, an automation that we could take advantage of, which generates a single file at the same time as it's generating the.
Got it. So we would have both versions, right? From the
Mhm.
same single source
From the
of
same.
truth.
Mhm.
I don't think and the books provides that, but maybe another tool would.
Mhm.
Anatomy of a book. Okay, don't think going into that issue into detail would be very helpful for us here. So yeah, I encourage everybody to leave their ideas, their opinions on the issue, and then we can move forward, move on to another thing to work on.
Mhm. Let's see if the other documentation tickets, issues rather.
Okay, I'm gonna add your screen to the stage.
Amazing, thank you. So I'm having a look at the issues. Let's see, documentation. Oh wow, this would be so cool. Except I don't know any Japanese.
Yeah, how do we deal with that? Something that we cannot review
Yeah,
using Google Translate? Would that work?
I would say yes, and then I would say no very, very quickly afterwards. So I'm not sure if you have this with like even with Portuguese, for example, where Portuguese in Brazil is different than it is in Portugal, and yeah,
Yeah.
so it's like, which version do you choose, kind of a thing. So I wonder if that's the same for Japanese. Um,
So yeah, I don't think we can maintain that. Oh, are you moving on to another
no, no,
issue?
sorry, I was
So
getting
there's
the.
a suggestion on the chat. Ask the poster to do a translation. I think even then we cannot maintain that.
I think we wouldn't be able to review it for sure. Maybe. Sorry, go ahead, Sarah. I'm thinking aloud.
Yeah, I think we can always rely a little bit on the community to help us with that. But do we have any other translations? Not currently, right?
Not in the repo, no.
Yeah, I'm inclined to. I'm inclined away from that idea of having translations for our documentation.
Hmm.
Yeah, the Sarah just joined here, and she has a good point. There's a lot of Japanese speakers in the Ruby community. I didn't think about that. That's why it's great to have other people contributing here. Um,
I guess we could reach out in the PR and see if they're connected, if the author is connected to people in the Ruby community who'd be able to review and maintain the documentation if it was available in Japanese.
there's a link here. Let's take a look at that. Oh, okay. Okay, so I guess it's a matter of asking them to open a PR, and then we can ask more people to
Wow.
review and
Yes. I'm very, very interested to see where this would go. This could be quite exciting. Yes, I vote yes.
um, then there's another comment on the chat. Matt's company usually tries to do a workshop with thoughtbot every year, and their suggestion is to reach out to them to see if they are interested in collaborating. Thanks, Todd.
All right, I'll add a note here. I guess the PR was from 2022. So the issues from 2022. So how shall I phrase this? Thank you. Risa? Sorry, Risa. Just making sure that's right. Okay. How do I phrase this? Would you be able to create a pull request? Would you be able to
Great.
pull request for this? I feel like I need to add a disclaimer that I wouldn't be able to review it, but hopefully some people from the community that speak Japanese would.
Yeah.
How does that sound? Yeah.
Go for it.
I wouldn't be able to review it, but really
Awesome. No! Close with comment? Okay. I thought you
like close?
had clicked on close with comment. No, 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 no. Awesome. Sorry about that.
That's all right. That's all right. I've done that so many times before, so I'm glad
Yeah,
I
me
did.
too.
Right.
Okay. Glad. Moving on?
Yeah, moving on. Do we want to have a look at FactoryBot Rails documentation? If there is any? No, it's not. It's only in FactoryBot, I think.
I think we can continue a little bit on FactoryBot more.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So let's have a look at more issues. And if there's anyone on the call that feels that there's an interesting one for us to have a look at together, feel free to post the issue link.
There is an interesting one from Mike about linting. So if you look for linked multiple factor definitions, yeah, that one.
Idea for a lint. Complain if two factory definitions create the same object. This is a goal towards these ideals. Each factory definition is the minimum required to make the object. Anything additional is added via traits. Okay. We'll need to consider factories that make, e.g., we'll need to consider factories that make hash, string, or array either by letting the user turn off the linter for them or by recognizing them as okay. I don't think I understand the second part.
So from that, I understand that when we are creating factories for classes such as the hash, string, or array, all right, I think I got that. So we may want to have different factories that create different hashes. So for our regular active record style of classes, it's okay that we have a single factory. But for instance, if we want to have a factory for building different hash objects, that linter would complain in that scenario. So we
I
need to let the user either bypass that or have a ignore list, and these classes would be allowed. We would be allowed to have more than one factory for a hash object, for instance.
I see. Nice. What's coming to mind is the linter that Stephanie was working on Hub. Sorry, on the thoughtbot blog.
I think this is a very good idea, but as we mentioned before, that we are mostly focusing on maintaining FactoryBot and not adding new things right now, except that these are work from the community. I don't think we can really focus on that. But if anyone is willing, sees the value on this, I think it would be I'll be happy to review that.
Agreed. Yeah.
And I think we need to add a comment. Mike was the previous maintainer, right? So he was just documenting ideas. So yeah, it was fun. We can move on to another issue.
Nice. Just want to see if are there any other linting things. Robocop. I can't remember if we're using standard on this. I don't think we are, and that might not necessarily be a good idea just because of people's different conventions. But for the sake of the code base, okay, I'm just thinking out loud again. Let me share my entire screen. We might not need to do that. Maybe let's have a look at
We do have standard listed on the FactoryBot Gem spec. Just so you know.
Yeah, I think I might have been the one that added it in, but I don't think it's actually checking yet. I suspect that it might be ignoring, but let me check. Standard YAML, do I have an ignore?
And we have a comment on the chat to talk about after we're done with that.
Okay. All right, ignore me. This isn't as interesting as I thought it was going to be. Let's have a look in the chat.
Yeah. So Harriet says it's a suggestion. How about we add a section for beginners, like a quick start? Yeah, pretty much it. I love that idea, Harriet. Yeah, let's add it to our to-do list. How about we just open an issue
Let's do
to
it.
document that? Yeah.
And issues. New issue.
And I would love to see your review on that PR if we open a PR to create that section, Harriet.
So create a
Contributing. It's quick start or we have our contributing documentation, right? Maybe that needs a little bit more color and detail.
All right. I feel I should add something to do with Open Summit during.
How? Yeah.
We noticed we don't have a section in the README that helps beginners begin with the basics of FactoryBot. I'll say the book documentation might be.
How about mentioning with the basics of contributing to FactoryBot? I think Harriet is coming from the contributor mindset and not from the user of the gem.
Okay. of contributing to FactoryBot.
We may want to link to some kind of guide on how to contribute to open source in general, because I think that's also a big thing that makes it harder for people to contribute to open source.
Agreed. We have a contributing guide in FactoryBot, and I'm just trying to see if our thoughtbot handbook or guides have something that we could use as well. Let me throw this into the chat. If folks feel that this is sufficient, maybe we just need to surface this a little bit more earlier in the README. But if it's not, if it's cryptic or if it's not clear, then we can definitely improve it. Feedback welcome. So where were we? We were looking for a link that we could use for
How to contribute to open source in general?
Yes.
Yeah, I can look for that. You can try to finish the GitHub issue.
Amazing. Thank you very much. Documentation, the existing documentation will be a little intimidating for a first-time contributor. How might we create something a little there?
And we're seeing I think we are not seeing the screen you're looking at, Silumesii.
Thanks. I'm hoping you're seeing it now.
Yes.
Thank you. So during Open Summit 2024, we noticed that we don't have a section in the README that helps beginners with the basics of contributing to FactoryBot. The existing documentation might be a little intimidating for a first-time contributor, and the existing documentation is this here. So let me link to that.
And we got feedback from the chat that these can apply to either an user or contributor. So beginner users of FactoryBot may also not have all the information they want to get started with the gem.
I see. So this may also apply to first-time users of FactoryBot. Does this capture it?
I think so. Awesome.
Yeah. So the problem this feature will solve, I guess this it's not a feature necessarily. Desired solution, alternatives considered, additional context.
I think in this case we don't need to fill everything, right? I think your description is concise enough.
Thank you. Okay, so let's submit this. And everyone feel free to add your thoughts to this.
Yeah, how about linking to the other issue we're talking about on getting back to the getting started style? Because I think that's related, right? The two issues, the user documentation. So when we close that issue, we can also close part of this one.
Okay, so I'll edit the message then.
It's 11671. The issue, I think you can link to that issue just by typing the number and the hash.
1671.
Nice. Yes. Awesome. Yay, thank you, Harriet, for your idea. Um, yeah, we already have a comment. Awesome. Shall we move on?
Let's do it. I'm doing a time check as well, in case we need to take a break at any point.
How about in 10 minutes we take a 5, 10 minutes break?
Perfect.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's been, we've been here the entire day, right? It's been a lot. Yeah,
A good day, though. It's been a very good day.
yes. Okay, so let's choose a new issue.
Traits.
We can take a look at a bug now, I think. Um,
I'll look at the bug tag.
would be great if we could work on something that we could tackle today, but I don't think we have the time
Mm,
and the energy, right?
mm.
Hmm. There is an interesting one.
Mhm.
There's a before create not executed in expected order, and there is one about traits. If you go to the second page of the issues, you may see them.
Sorry. Let's look at bugs. And
Yeah,
okay, before create
yeah,
and traits. Limiting trait, linting traits. No,
those
that's the
two.
one.
Which one sounds better for you? More interesting.
The before create seems interesting. Let me share it. Let's have a look.
Okay.
The before create block is not getting executed in the order I expect when using instance in one of the factory's associations. I'm trying to update an existing factory. I have organization to allow a build strategy. It currently takes a block like this, which obviously won't work when using build. So I've updated it by making it an association. But now I can't find evidence that the factory's before create block that I need to run is running, at least in the order I expect. See reproduction steps below. This fails because the HTTP call is not getting stubbed out.
Are we able to run the reproduction script?
I hope so. This is a Rails application with an organization count type.
It's
Um,
been also more than a year since that issue, so
yeah, okay. So in theory, we would need to spin up a Rails application. Okay, here we go. FactoryBot 6, Rails 6, and Ruby 2. Okay, this is okay. This was a while back. I think I'm running into something similar because HTTP calls aren't being stubbed. Nothing to add other than that so far. Was January 10. Okay, February. Okay, so it might still be an issue. In my project, doesn't seem to before create doesn't seem to run at all. This leads to a situation where FactoryBot build my factory save works. The after build callback runs as expected and fills in some bidirectional associations for delegated types correctly, but FactoryBot create my factory throws validation failed. Okay, because neither after build or before create are invoked. This is contrary to the documentation, which suggests that FactoryBot should run both after build and before create callbacks. Is this related to, no, it's not, is it? Just trying to see if the issue we had earlier this morning is related to this from CodeMeister. Let's see.
Take a look at the documentation.
Thank you. Okay. Let me try this. So it looks like we might be able to create a file with this definition and test it that way. Let's give that a shot. I think I'll need to unshare and then reshare my whole screen. Let's see how far we get. What about, okay, I've got a bit of time. Stop sharing. Let me present my whole screen. Oh, I'm glad this worked. There was an issue I used to have earlier. Oh, hang on, it did not work. I'm not showing it on the stage. Here we go. Right, let's try reproduce. All right. Where shall we put this? Let's put it.
What are you trying to do now?
So to the reproduction steps suggest that we can run the tests with Ruby and then the file name. So I'm trying to see if we create this file, create a file and then run the test with this.
Yeah.
Thanks for catching me on that. So let's call it let's put it in temp. Why not?
So with touch, you're creating a new file. That's a bash command, right?
That's right. Yeah. Thanks. This is why pairing is so useful. All right. So this is our file copied directly from the GitHub issue, and I should be able to just run Ruby and then the file name. So Ruby.
Cool. So it's failing with net connections not allowed.
And I think that's the expected behavior. Or is it? Okay, actual behavior. The test fails. Expected. However, if you change the organization factory to this, the HTTP call does in fact get stopped and everything works out as expected. Let's try this. So the organization factory.
Yeah, so there we are still doing a request with webmock using a NASA API URL.
Got it. So that's this one here.
Trying to spot the difference between
Mm-hmm.
that snippet and the original reproduction script.
Mm. Let's see if diff will help. So touch first, .rb, touch second. So what I'm trying to do here is we'll see if diff can help us figure out what the differences are between the two files. And so we have a second.rb file and we have a first.rb file. Second. And what I want to compare is this section of code here, which is the one that is working. We'll call this.
I think the difference is in the after create
Okay, you were okay.
callback. Well, let's
Yes.
see. I think there's no after create callback in the original script.
Organization. Yes, I think I see that as well. So
So the after create callback makes a difference here. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what we want to do then is just replicate this piece to see if what we are, what the reporter has reported is what we are experiencing. Is this the right section? So from the factory to the end. I hope that's right. Let's run the test.
Okay, so now we're expecting no errors about HTTP request not allowed, right? Okay, no errors.
Nice. And what version of FactoryBot am I using? Gem
I
list.
think on this script we define 6.0. If you open the script and go back to the beginning, we define gem FactoryBot 6.0.
Which would include 644. Okay.
Do you wanna use the newest version and see if that changes anything?
Let's try that. So I'll lock it to the exact version and we'll run the one that's working.
Okay, that failed.
Yeah, uninitialized constant active support delegation. Which version of active support is this? 7.2.1.2. Okay, I'm conscious that we talked about taking a break in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I think at that point,
Yeah, it's done.
Yeah. Do you want to do a 5-minute break?
Yeah, that works for me.
All right. Okay, we'll be back in 5.
Yes. We are back.
All
Yay.
right.
And shout out, just want to mention that we may receive another guest here hosting. Nick Charlton from maintainer from administrate may be joining us soon. So we may shift this conversation a little bit about open source in general. In the meantime, we can maybe continue on the investigation we were on.
Mhm. So I was trying to understand what was giving us this error. At first, I suspected that it wasn't going to be using the latest version of active support, but maybe let's do a quick recap. So we are currently working on, where's my issue? That's not it. Sorry, I have a habit of opening way too many tabs. Here we are. So before create not executed in expected order, and the author has done a very good job of creating the circumstances that cause this to fail and the circumstances that cause this to pass. What we were trying was using the latest version of FactoryBot that we just pushed out this morning, and trying to see if
Uh,
that will
we pushed the FactoryBot Rails version, right?
factory.
Not FactoryBot.
Oh, that's right. So this is the wrong
Yeah.
version. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Is
Recaps
it?
recaps are
No,
great.
no,
So
but
it's,
FactoryBot is one release ahead of FactoryBot Rails, I think. Let's take a look at that.
that's right. Yes, one release ahead.
Six
So
five. Yes, that's
yeah,
correct. Let's try
yeah.
again.
Let's try it again. FactoryBot 6.5 Ruby test.
Rewinding is always a good way
Yeah,
to spot errors, right? In breaks as well.
yeah. Taking breaks is
So that did that run?
that ran. Mhm.
Awesome.
So
So it
that
was a meta of a version.
so
The issues of it.
runs, yeah. So this runs for the version where we have the after create. So we're going to remove the after create and see if that works. So maybe what I'll do is I'll copy the original version again and paste that. Change to FactoryBot 6.5 and run this all over again. Okay.
So we are looking to see if we have the same behavior in the old version and in the newest version. And we have a failure as well, so we can consider that the problem happens
Mhm.
both with the new versions. Okay. Um, Nick has joined us here, so can
Hello.
hello, welcome.
How's it
We're just
going?
having fun with bugs.
Oh, well, that's lovely. Yeah, I've just spent, we did quite a lot this morning actually. So ended up releasing a new beta release for Administrate. So if you're using that, that would be great. And then started triaging a bunch of issues and closing off a couple of things and getting some stuff merged. So it's been a good day.
Nice.
Awesome. You also released a version for FactoryBot Rails. So lots of releases today.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
So
at this,
would you like to rewind and talk about the original issue again, Silumesii?
yes,
So
yeah, let's do it. So we're looking at this issue here. I've posted the link in the StreamYard comments or chat, I think it's called. And so we have before create not executing in the expected order. And we have, well, so the before create block is not getting executed in the order I am expecting when using instance in one of the factories associations. I'm trying to update an existing factory. I have organization to allow a build strategy. It currently makes use of a block like this, which obviously wouldn't work when using build. So I've updated it to making an association. But now I can't find evidence that the factories before block that I need to run is running, at least in the order that I expect. And we've run the reproduction steps with FactoryBot 6.0, and we've also done done the same with FactoryBot 6.5, which is the latest one we've pushed out to date. So the failure condition is failing for us, and the success condition is succeeding for us as well.
Yeah. And I think we can go on with that for a little while longer, try to have any insights about the problem, and then we can have an overall discussion about open source with our guest here, Nick.
Nice.
Sounds good?
Sounds like a plan. Do we want to set a time on that? I might end up going way long. Should we go up until the half hour?
Yeah, works for me.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. So let's see what the failure is. What the error message?
Yeah, so with the before block we were expecting to stub the HTTP call. And as we see this error here, we see that the call is actually not being stubbed. So what is going on in the FactoryBot code base that is leading to that? Would you like to maybe take a look at the implementation for the callbacks? Then we can have any insights on how the orders play with each other. That's what I can think about. So I would expect to look for something. Okay, a callback class. Cool.
Let's see what else we have called callback. So we've got matches, got the spec.
So related question, Nick, do you see a lot of bug reports in Administrate that look like this?
A good few, yeah. Sometimes the quality of the report's better than others. So something I've often done is ask for an example app, because the configuration and the setup is so specific a lot of the time. And if you can't replicate it, there's not much you can do about it, which is kind of unfortunate.
And you've been working with Administrate for how long now?
It's something like 6 or 7 years at this point.
Yeah, do you feel confident already with it? Like if you see a reproduction, a bug report, are you able to spot problems easily or not
It
really?
depends. So sometimes, yes, like I can look at it and go, I think I know what this is. But then if I've not looked at issues for, say, a little while, I forget how the code is structured, because it's like you can't keep that much code in your head over a long period of time. And so if I've been doing a lot of work in a particular area in Administrate and someone opens an issue, I can probably just tell you what the thing is, which is nice, because then replying to that issue is really quick. But most of the time it's not like that, and I have to dig into it and reread the code and trace it and then go, oh yeah, it's this, and then reply.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, carry on then with the callback investigation.
Let's do it. So we're looking in the callback module here. So libfactorybot callback.rb, and so the callback name, I guess, will be, what are we doing here? So we want
Before?
Before, yes. So before create. Before create, yeah.
Is it the whole callback? Is it before create or just before that gets passed into the callback class? I think it's before create, right? Okay.
Before create.
Can you take a look at an usage of the callback class?
Sorry, I missed that.
Can you look for an usage of the callback class? How
Right.
is that class used?
Yes. That should be in the docs. Maybe better to get them from GitHub. Let's get them from here. And there is a shorter way to do this, isn't there? A book. Here we are. Let's search for callback.
We can also take a look at the callback spec file.
Okay. Which is here.
Yeah, so it's really the first argument looks like after create a symbol or a string, and then a block, not a block, right? And then runs its blocks with no parameters. Okay, so that is not really the place I think we're looking to learn about how the order of the callbacks
Works. Yeah.
work. How might we find that place? FactoryBot is not the most simple code base. If anybody on the chat has ideas on or places they'd like us to take a look at, please let us know. Call back. There is a class called callbacks observer.
Yes, I see that too.
What does that do? I don't know. Callbacks by name. Okay. So I think that class is helpful. So in the update method, we call callbacks by name and we run them. We say .each and then callback.run. So I guess the execution order depends on what the return of the callbacks by name method.
Which is this one.
And then this just selects the callbacks that gets passed into the callbacks observer.
And what's determining the order?
I would think the callbacks variable gets passed into this class from the factory.rb class. Can you open that?
Okay.
Yeah, if you look for a callbacks observer, we have a variable called callbacks.
This this one,
And
hierarchy
then,
instance.
yeah, hierarchy instance.
Okay. Hierarchy class.new.
Class.new parent hierarchy class. Fun. Mm,
That's this one here. Class.new.
there's the build from definition method. I'm gonna take a look at that. Build from definition. Build constructor. Factor by name.
Definition wording.
Maybe that's not the most exciting problem to stream because it's a lot of reading and just learning how callbacks work for this project.
At the very least, we were able to recreate, but about 2 minutes to the half-hour mark. So I'll just let the author know that we still have this issue with FactoryBot 6.5.0.
Awesome, that's progress.
That's not the right screen.
Oh, and we have suggestions on the chat.
Yes.
I don't know if we have the time, but yeah.
Let's have a look at one. Just stand it out, then test the order. Ah, nice. Yes. Yes. I like that. Okay. I don't know if we'll have time, but thank you, Codemeister. This is definitely something that we'll try while we switch gears. So I'll post the message and try the puts. Good old-fashioned puts. Thank you. Thank you, Samantha. We were able to reproduce this with 6.5.
6.5, yeah.
Right.
Awesome. Looks good.
All right. Thank you. I guess let me stop sharing and where's this? There we go.
Cool. All right. So we can just chat a little bit about open source in general. If anybody on the chat has questions or comments they'd like to share about the state of open source for thoughtbot or in general, please let us know. We'll be happy to answer your questions. And especially for our oldest maintainer here on this call, Nick is very experienced with open source. We are just newbies, right, Silumesii? But we are doing our best, learning a lot since we started maintaining FactoryBot. Would you like to share a little bit about your experience so far, Silumesii?
Yeah, definitely a newbie. Very, very proud of it. But I can highly recommend it. I know it is a lot of work to do open source, and just the nature of the the work itself, because you have to support thousands and thousands of users who are very, very unique use cases. Moving carefully and is probably the better way to do this. So I'd be very interested to hear how the levels of experience of the people on the call as well. If you're new, like some of us, or if you've been doing this for a while, like Nick, feel free to post in the chat. How's your experience been so far, Sarah?
Yeah, well, it's been a ride, right? I've learned about so many things that I don't know. I didn't know that I didn't know all these things. But it's been great. Even going to conferences and mentioning that you maintain a library that people use, it's been the best feeling. Do you want to share a little bit about your experience, Nick?
Yeah, it's similar for me. Like, it's nice to see, especially the wide variety of people who open issues. Like names from around the world is always cool. So that's always been the case. It's like lots of people from all over the place. It's been great. And sometimes it's tricky to find the time for everything, but careful decision making can make life a lot easier. So being conscious about what features you add, the use cases that you accept supporting is also is good, and knowing the stuff that regularly changes, so you know where to focus your time. Because there's not enough hours in the day to do all of the things. So I guess this probably applies similarly, like with FactoryBot Rails, where it's like we have to keep on top of the upstream changes that come from Rails. We do the best we can with Administrate to keep up with the new things that are happening. And as I'm currently working towards 1.0, a lot of the focus there is to align it as closely as possible with the things that Rails supports. To answer a question in the chat, like how much time do you spend in open source compared to the consultancy work? So predominantly, in theory, it's Fridays where we have the whole day to work on stuff. But I'm also a team lead, so I spend quite a lot of my time in one-on-ones with people and helping and supporting them elsewhere. So the time I have is shorter. What I typically do is, in terms of practice, is that I time box time every day to look at PRs, and that covers everything from like the current client project I'm on to the open source stuff. And so I do as much as I can within that time box, and then I try and find, for some of the bigger work, that's trickier to fit in. Like we struggled for a long time to fix our asset handling in Administrate, and it was starting to get really frustrating with how everything was working. And I think we fixed that almost as part of a client project in the end for doing the majority of the work. And so sometimes you can fit that in that way, which is quite nice. I'm curious to hear how you're handling it, Sarah and Silumesii.
Yeah, I can start. I've been using a lot of my Fridays to work on FactoryBot, and even then, it seems like I know nothing. But yeah, I think I try to save at least 1 hour every Friday that I have available. Of course, if we have holidays, that kind of thing, or vacation, I don't work on FactoryBot. So yeah, I think at least 1 hour every Friday, and pairing with Silumesii has been great. I think that's when we have the most progress. It's when we pair. Sharing the responsibilities of a maintainer has been really great for me. I wouldn't do it any other way. Want to add something, Silu?
Yeah. Oh, perfect. Yes, I was going to add a link to investment day as well. So at thoughtbot, we typically bill clients 4 days a week, and then 1 day a week is dedicated to continuous improvement. We call that investment time, and so within reason, I'll try and dedicate my Fridays, or at least 1 day a week, towards working on FactoryBot. It doesn't always work out that simply. I guess other responsibilities come in. So I think this is an important question. How much time we spend? I guess the ideal is something that we're continuously trying to hit, but the reality ends up being maybe a little bit less than perhaps we would like. But it does make a difference, because I think I'm a better overall programmer by being exposed to this kind of work and being able to pair with Sarah so often. I think there's every pairing session that we have, even on FactoryBot, I end up leaving a better programmer. So sometimes it might feel or look like you're spending time and you're not getting anything back from it. But I think over time, the investment is worth it.
Yeah, I love that. If we had reactions, I would react to that with the heart, because I feel very similar to that. And we have a follow-up question. Do you only manage one open source repository at a time, or multiple? I think me and Silumesii, we've been only maintaining officially FactoryBot and FactoryBot Rails, but we also contribute to others, like Silumesii makes a ton of contributions to make sure that our other repositories are up to date, updating bundler, Ruby versions. I'm sure that would you call yourself maintainers of these other repositories as well, Silumesii?
Not officially, but I am finding that it's giving me a lot of exposure to the work that thoughtbot does. So we maintain a lot of repositories, and I wouldn't have known about them without doing these small changes over time.
So I maintain the two big ones are administrate and appraisal. I also keep an eye on climate control and Capybara Discovery, and there's a couple other like minor ones, and the administrate is made up of a couple of plugins and stuff as well. Appraisal's been quite fun because I've ended up having to like open lots of upstream issues on Bundler and work with some of the Ruby gems and Bundler core maintainers, which has been quite nice. So it's quite funny to see the same faces everywhere, which is pretty good.
And we have a follow-up question. You just had a typo there on the name of the company. thoughtbot. Yeah, I think that question would be good to you, Nick. You mentioned time boxing, right?
Yeah, that's a habit I picked up a long time ago. So I do something similar with like how I deal with my like normal daily stuff. So I do a daily review every day, for example, which is like email calendar, and then go through and check off as many to-dos as I can. And I do the same with having calendar time boxes, where like within this block of time, I will try and work on as much of this as possible. And then the hope is that by spreading that out over time, you spread your energy around as well as the time, and so then the impact is much lower. So that works fairly well.
So there was a question about how many contributors we have. I don't think we know that, right? I think we know how many people are maintaining actively. We have a code owners file that helps us to keep track of that, but I have no idea how many people contribute to FactoryBot. I think if other thoughtbotters keep an eye on things, they help but I have no idea. I think, I would just say that me and Silumesii are the maintainers for FactoryBot. Do you have a count of how many other people are working actively on administrating?
So it kind of goes up and down. So it's at least Pablo and I. So Pablo used to work for us, and he's stayed on to keep helping out with administrative, which has been great. So it's at least us two. And then there's probably 4 or 5 common names that I see. Some people come in and go, and I'll open issues or respond to others and open PRs and stuff. Something I do find is that, and this disappoints me because I feel like it lets everything down sometimes, but like if you manage to reply quickly to things, it keeps the momentum going, which means that people are more likely to, if they make a contribution, so let's say they open an issue with a I think this should be the solution, and you go, sure, sounds good. So they open a PR. If you can keep that cycle quite tight, then you'll find usually people will open something else later on. Which is a nice thing to see. So yeah, it goes up and down depending really, but yeah, generally for administrator it's like somewhere between 2 and 5 or 6 over time as it goes up and down.
I'm taking notes. Yeah, we really need to do better in getting back to people in a timely manner. Yeah, that's definitely something I want to improve on. Let's see if you have anything else in the chat. Okay, new question. If I want to contribute to thoughtbot's open source projects, where is the best place for communication? Discord, GitHub issue, or somewhere else?
I'm pretty keen that we keep stuff public. We only just added Discord for this event, but I think it will hang around. So GitHub issues are the best place to have try and keep all the discussions there. And then most of them lead to PRs and so forth. And like replying to old issues is fine too. There's no it's not a forum where like the threads die. It's like, no, they exist. They're still there. And so if you want to contribute to even some of the older ones, like there's stuff going back to 2016, for example, if you got a good idea for that, then I'd love to see it.
And I want to mention a repository that I think it's very nice that people may not know a lot about. That's the guides. So we share a lot of things about how we like to work on our guides repository. So if you have ideas on how things to improve on that repository as well, feel free to open PRs. Any other questions on the chat? Comments, suggestions, feedback about this event so far? I don't think so. So, Silu or Nick, any other ideas on things to talk about until we hit our time?
I was just going to add that Stephanie has been doing a really good job of, in a sense, pulling all of us as a team together towards making sure that we are sort of moving in the same direction with open source. So she's created a link that I'm trying to see. Okay, yeah, here we are. Thoughtbot open source help needed. So if you're looking for somewhere to contribute, this link that I've just shared might be a good place. We try to keep this up to date roughly on a monthly cycle. So if there's anything interesting from that list, you're welcome to jump in and help out. Yeah,
something we did quite recently. We started to meet together as maintainers. There's something we realized was that we were all off doing our own little things and no one really knew what to do. And importantly, they didn't know how to contribute to things. And so that's part of the purpose of what Sila was mentioning around having a list of ideal issues. I struggle with them for administrate and appraisal because especially most recently, because there's not been obvious ones to do, although there's plenty of them. But yeah, we started to meet quite regularly. We ummed and ahed a little bit about trying to open that up publicly, and maybe that's something we might try and do. This has been quite successful today so far, and we're only like halfway through, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, and a reminder that we have a lot to go yet on this track. We'll be receiving our colleagues Fer and Aji in the next hour or so to continue working on FactoryBot. So hang on, stay around if you like to continue hacking. Shall we wrap up a little bit earlier, and give everybody a break until the next talk?
Yeah, sounds good.
That sounds fair.
All right, so a little bit reminder of our schedule. We'll have a talk from Aji in around 15 minutes, and then we'll come back to this room here with Fer and Aji. We'll have the schedule is actually on Discord, so you can take a look there, and we'll have a new draw again for a t-shirt, and yeah, we'll let our teammates take over. It's been a pleasure. Any closing remarks from you two?
Yeah, so much fun. Thank you everyone for coming.
Yeah, it's been great, everyone. Thank you so much. I'm going to hang around in Discord for a while, although I'm going to go outside. That's what I'm going to do right now. Is I'm going to go outside because I haven't been outside all day. But I'll be around in Discord if anyone wants to chat about anything else today.
Yeah, same. It's been a real pleasure. I didn't expect so much engagement. Thank you so much for that. I think that makes all the difference. And I hope to see you online. Bye.
See you all.